Carl James thought he had more time, but the sound of a door opening meant he had to hurry. The secure office suite at the State Department was typically unoccupied after midnight, except for the diehards like himself, who had no one to go home to and preferred solitude over companionship when he wasn't doting over his grandkids. He couldn't turn on another light without alerting whoever had come onto the floor, so he relied on the dim desk lamp to complete his task. Glancing again at the sheet of paper on his desk, he ensured he'd gotten the spelling correct for the city associated with the last name on the lists from the classified folder. His German heritage and the 4 years he'd spent there on a diplomatic posting had done little to improve his spelling of German towns, yet he could remember the combination of dots and dashes that made up every letter, number, and symbol in Morse code. His mind worked oddly sometimes, but his penchant for numbers and patterns had served him well, especially tonight, when time was short. Carl placed the final dot within the musical staff of the last piece of sheet music and shoved the stack into his satchel. The sound of footsteps in the hallway meant he had seconds to cover his tracks, or else he would be caught with his hand where it wasn't supposed to be. He snatched the official folder containing the list of names and cities from his desk and dashed to the open high-security file safe. After returning the file to its precise home, he closed the door, spun the dial, and retraced his steps to his desk when the overhead lights turned on. Carl stretched and yawned before turning off the lamp and glancing over his shoulder. The roaming security guard was making his rounds. "Evening, Simon." "Working late on the floor tonight, Mr. James?" "Just finishing up some paperwork and leaving it for my secretary." "It's Christmas Eve tomorrow. Couldn't it wait until after the holiday?" "You know diplomats, Simon. Nothing can wait." Carl threw on his winter coat and grabbed his satchel. "Walk out with me?" "Sure thing, Mr. James." They exited the office suite and took the elevator down, chatting about the expected foul weather for Christmas Day. "I hope to be at my daughter's place in Alexandria, drinking hot cocoa and watching my grandkids open presents," Carl said, stepping into the grand first-floor lobby adorned with shiny marble floors, classical stone accents formed into faux Greek columns, and limestone statuary he'd never cared to inspect in his 3.5 decades with the department. "How about you, Simon?" "The morning shift here, then hopefully ham and candied yams for dinner at home."